select the movie icon at the bottom of the toolbar, and it opens up the movie editor. Each movie is comprised of a series of clips that you create. To create a clip, select the plus sign next to the movie editor tab and select movie clip. It takes a picture of your current scene. Now, to animate your camera, just move it forward to the position that you want. And then add another clip by selecting this camera with the plus sign. And I'm going to change the transition time from 16 seconds to 5 seconds. So now the camera is going to animate from between the first picture, point A, to the last picture, point B, in 5 seconds. Select the first one and then hit play. You can see the smooth transition that is generated automatically by LumenRT. There's a few different ways to view your clip. We have the thumbnails, and then we have the graph editor, where you have a lot more control over the movement of your camera by these lines in your graph. The blue line controls the X position, which goes back and forth, and then we have the green line that controls the Y position, and moving left and right, and then we have the purple line that controls the Z position, go up and down. Now, while each keyframe specifies where the camera is going to land, the curve into the keyframe helps control the ease in and out of each position. So we can do it manually by clicking and dragging these handles and then expand them, shorten them, move them up and down. You can see how it affects the line. Or we can left click on the keyframe to select it and then right click to get the menu. And here we have some presets: smooth constant, smooth weighted, ease in and ease out, linear, step, or custom. So the top three here controls the handles on each side of the keyframe going in and out of that picture, of that placement of your camera. This one here controls going in. So if I wanted to ease into this last keyframe, I select ease in. And this last section in the menu controls the outward motion. So if I also wanted to ease out, I would select ease out. So basically, when the camera is going up at an angle, it's going to slowly stop here at this keyframe and then slowly start again to the next one. So let's add another keyframe so we can see that happening. And to add another keyframe, just again move your camera to the next position and add your picture. Edit your transition time. And then select the first one and let's see how it goes. So we're easing in to the height and then easing out, going back down. And if you want to update a keyframe, so you don't want to add a new one but just change the one that you're currently on, so again, move your camera to your desired position, and instead of selecting the camera with the plus icon, just select this refresh icon over the keyframe that you want to change. So we're going to update, and now instead of moving linear across the water, we're going to shoot up to the sky for a bird's eye view. There we go. To delete a keyframe, you could hover over it and select the trash can. It says remove keyframe. And to add a pause in between keyframes, just select this clock here, the bottom corner of your picture, your thumbnail, and then insert the amount of time that you want to pause for, say 2 seconds. Back down, and you can see it pauses for 2 seconds, it holds there, and then it starts up again. You can do this with any keyframe, in the middle, beginning, or end. Now let's go back to our graph editor. And you can see we've been controlling the lines, X, Y, and Z here, but we could also control the camera's rotation. So I select the camera rotation, and you see it adds another yellow line. But it looks so busy, I'm not sure exactly what line is doing what. So to reduce the clutter, I'm going to select the camera position icon again to remove those lines from the graph. As you can see, we have a flat line here because as we're pausing, the camera's not rotating at all. And then it shoots up as the camera begins to rotate, kind of eases into this keyframe, then eases out, and then eases in again to the last keyframe. So there's a lot of jerky movement here. We can try to smooth it out by selecting the keyframe and messing with the handles, or we can just delete the keyframe. So let's see what happens if I delete the keyframe that's making the camera stand still during that pause. It just keeps it straight. And then it spins around. It's not so nice. I didn't like that. So I'm going to undo it. I'm going to delete this one. Get a smooth movement. Then here, then move this around. You can see in your screen how moving these lines around is affecting your camera movement. So you can see it as you're editing, and it really helps with trial and error. So other aspects that we can animate and control from the graph here. I'm going to add the X, Y, and Z back. So we got X, Y, Z, camera orientation, camera focal point, so the zoom in and out, camera's exposure to light, and then we have the camera's focus, the amount of blurriness in your scene. And then we have the camera field, which affects where the blurriness starts and ends. So it helps you edit your field of depth. Get rid of these lines. Down here you can see we have two suns, two light icons. To enable those, just go into your weather settings and select this clock up next to sun position. Now we've enabled animating for the sun. I'm going to turn on my geolocation too, just so we can make it more accurate. Okay. All right, so right now it's 8:44 a.m. on this clip. That's gorgeous. For this clip, I'm going to change it to say 152. So you can see it update. In this clip, it says 6:45 a.m. Oh, I forgot to, here we go. Move it to 1, and then you have to remember to update your clip. And now it's at 2:20. So here's 6:45, here 2:20, and we can watch it animate. Standing still for 2 seconds, you can see the sun rotating in the sky. Awesome. Okay, now that we have our camera animated and our sun animated, let's play around with the focal point. Going to go into my camera settings, open up depth of field, and add blur to the scene. Nice. As you can see, the moment I changed one of the animated properties, the refresh symbol popped up over that thumbnail. So once I get it exactly how I want it, I'm going to hit that to update. Let's see. As you can see, it's clear right here in the middle. It looks pretty cool. So I'm going to update it there. And then let me finish. I want it to be completely clear by this keyframe. So I'm going to update it here. And let's see how that looks. So we're back to being clear now. Okay, so let's see how that looks in our graph editor. The camera focal and the camera blur turned on. I never animated the focal point. I just increased and decreased the blur once I figured out where I wanted the focal point to be. So the focal point is a straight line, indicating that it never changes. And you can see this peach color line, which is the blur. It decreases over time as I've animated it. We can edit the focal point and the blur the same way that we did with the X, Y, and Z positions, just by dragging these lines, these keyframes up and down and playing with the handles. I don't want to do that because I like the way it looks. I'm going to undo. And then here, now that we've animated the sun, the time of day option is available. Select that. The rest, you can see this gradual increase as it progresses throughout the day. And then it only changes on this third keyframe and continues straight. Maintains its time of day all the way to the end. So let's say we have our clip set up exactly how we want it. We just want to review the changes we made. Over here to your left, we have controls that help you zoom forward and backwards throughout your animation. Put it on a loop and hit play. And it'll play for you continuously for your review. That's the end, and then loops back. Right? So then you pause it, you can take it off, repeat, and you could just jump to the next keyframe, the previous keyframes in these controls. And then down here underneath the controls, it tells you what time you are at in your animation. So right now we're at 7 seconds. You change it manually. You can just slide through and you see the time changing as you move the slider around. And then over here, next to the graph icon, you have a menu drop down. You have some options for your clip. You can duplicate your clip, and you can hide the clip from the movie, make it inactive in the movie editor, and you can just delete your clip. You can also choose to render out this specific clip without rendering out the rest of your movie. Select export clip, and you have your movie options: resolution, quality, your encoder, frame rate, destination. Say I want standard at 1080. To my desktop, change the name, Ocean View, and then I just select OK. And as you can see, it goes frame by frame. It gives you a progress report. And then once it's done, you have your video.